3 minutes past 2 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7, Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. You're welcome to Political Arena. Today, 19th October 2021. My name is Sumto Titilayo Ajamma. Women's political participation is a significant prerequisite for making progress towards the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. And to achieve this, there's need to actively sensitize and educate women in rural communities to participate in politics at all levels by voting and campaigning for their preferred candidates. Now, some women in these communities do not even know about their legal and political rights, so they do not participate in elections, while others who do are not really informed about the process, so they could be misled during the elections. This is the foundation of which we're discussing rural women, key stakeholders in 2023. Again, rural women, key stakeholders in 2023. I'm not doing this alone as always. I'm doing this today with my first guest, Chief Constance Meju, gender advocate and publisher, National Point newspaper. Good afternoon. Are you there?
Yeah, I am. Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
What would you like me to address you by? Can I call you Constance?
You can call me Constance.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, so today we're discussing rural women key stakeholders in 2023. And in view of the 2023 general elections, it's imperative that we discuss this because the fact that we're talking about rural women gives a foundation to the fact that rural women know, and they either know and cannot act based on some limitations that they have, or they don't even know at all. They don't know their legal rights, they don't know their political rights, or they just do not know how to act come election time when it comes to enforcing these rights. So this is why we're having this conversation. But before I go on with you, Constance, let me open the phone lines and let people know that they can contribute on the program. So the phone lines are 07000 917 917 and 0902 562 5455. Again, 07000 917 917 and 0902 562 5455. You can also do well to send a text message or a WhatsApp message to the text line 0703 175 6537. Our social media handles are also open on Facebook and Instagram at WFM917. And you can also listen live from wherever you are in the world on the stream link www.wfm917.com. All right. So, Constance, we're looking at 2023 for the general elections. That's in view, literally, like it's 2 years away. And some people don't even know that or did not appreciate the level at which it's really close. So, but talking about rural women, what are the roles that rural women can play in these forthcoming elections?
Well, the rural women are a very important component of the Nigerian society as well as the Nigerian politics. Remember that in Nigeria, politics starts at the ward level, and the ward level is the grassroots. And who are there? Women, youth, men. And our census says that women are about 50% of the population. So if that is so, then the women in the rural areas are important. And when you look at how elections are being holding in the country, you find that women are a very significant component of the voters. Like in the last election, we are told that 47.14% of registered voters are women, which is a significant figure. So they are important. And as part of society too, it is important that the issues that affect them are put into consideration in policy making. So that makes their participation in politics important. But you have already said earlier that their understanding of their role is their understanding of policies that affect them is also low. So that has been a hindrance. And therefore, this program is very important because 2023 is a key year. The country is in turmoil. And if we have to get things right, then women have to be a major voice in getting things right.
Thank you very much, Constance. Now, knowing that there are all these limitations that affect voting decisions made by rural women, how can we sensitize them on the need to carefully examine candidates before voting or before campaigning for their fellow rural women to vote for a certain candidate? How can we sensitize them on the need to take their time to do their research, to carefully examine some of these candidates or all of the candidates before they vote or before the campaign for voting?
Well, one of the things is a major thing is education. You have to keep training women. Unfortunately, we are talking about 2023, but really, the necessary groundwork for 2023 are not going on. It's only the politicians that are actually doing some work. The work that civil society and government, especially the National Orientation Agency, is supposed to be doing, that of enlightening the people on civic education, is not there. The only good thing is that the problems in the country will compel women to look properly at candidates, because if the people that you voted in were locking up palliative warehouses, that means that when they come again, you have to have a retain. So the major thing is for us to now start educating them, especially civil society. There should be programs, and the Women Affairs Ministry. The Women Affairs has to galvanize women to action, because women are the most traumatized in the present administration. With all the cases of rape and violence, the mothers are the ones who are suffering, the girls who are being violated, all the killings, the men who are dying, women are widows. So there's every need for every woman, wherever you are, in every corner of this country, no matter how inferior, to begin to think again about what kind of government that you want. Is it a government that cares? Is it the one that doesn't care? What kind of candidate are you voting in? Is it somebody because he's related to you, or somebody who can deliver, somebody who can stand for you, who can protect you, who can protect your rights, and who can come up with visions that can change lives for the better? So education is the key thing. Then there's need to empower our women. Poverty has been a major hindrance. That's why people will go to voting centers and collect 500 naira for a 4-year term. Because once you vote, that is the end. You don't see the people again. You need to empower them. Let them have things that they are doing. And if they have things, they know that they are worth more than that 500 naira, more than 1,000 naira. They cannot just fall for anybody that just comes. In other countries, women in the rural areas engage candidates. They invite them to come and say, what are you planning for us? It is based on what the discussion produces that they endorse or say that they are not endorsing a candidate. But it's not so in Nigeria. Somebody just comes and collects you, you wear uniform, and you go and you vote without really understanding who you are voting.
You really made a good point right there, Constance. You really did. Because I'm looking at this from the perspective of knowledge. It's one thing to know that, you're supposed to vote come the elections. It's another thing for you to know that you're supposed to know who it is you're voting for, and not by way of, that quick campaign they usually do just before the elections. The one where they share food and they share food items and they take pictures with women who sell stuff in the streets and all of that. And they garner all that public support. I'm not talking about that one. No. That one, it doesn't qualify. Because we're talking about the type where you tell people what your plans are and you get their buy-in into your vision that you want to implement when you become so political authority in that state. So these women need to know what their candidates or their preferred candidates are about, who they are, what their track record has been in times past, and all of that. So I agree with you that education is the biggest gift that we can give them. That's what they need the most to be able to implement this difference that we're talking about. So before I keep going, another thing that stands out when we talk about voting, campaigning, elections, as we speak right now, is the continuous voters registration exercise, the CVR exercise. And it stands out because you cannot vote if you haven't been through this process.
Yes.
So how can we get more rural women? What steps can we take to ensure that more rural women go through this process so that they can participate in the actual voting exercise after they've been through this?
Yeah, I think that's the challenge that every enlightened woman has to take. Go to your home and educate women and also the civil society. But in educating them, you also have to convince them, because you know that there's a lot of trust in the political system at the moment. But you have to encourage them to understand that if everybody becomes nonchalant, then the people who are misruling the country will continue. But if you want positive change, then you have to come and make a statement with your vote. So you need to register. And we also encourage INEC to make the process as less strenuous, especially for community people. Because when you talk about things, registration going on and all, it's usually about city centers, local government headquarters. People sometimes have to come from very far distances in the interior communities to come and register. You need to make the process easier. The last time, a lot of people couldn't even collect their voters' cards because they were not ready when they should be, and when they were ready, the people were too far away. So we need to look at these things. We need to really make things easier. I'm happy that the e-registration is coming on fine, especially with the youth, and I believe that a lot of girls are also doing that, but we need to also encourage girls to see policies as something that belongs to everybody. Because whatever policy they make affects you. Now you are e-compliant. All your buying and things, government is targeting them for taxation and all. So if you don't like what is going on, get your voter's card so that you can make a statement.
True. Very true. I'm going to take that statement from you. I'm going to steal it because I will repeat it over and over again in the course of this program today. If you don't like what's going on, get your voter's card and change it and make a difference. Because in all honesty, we really can't sit on the sidelines to just keep complaining and not be able to effect any change. And the best way to do that is to get our voter's cards so that when it's time to vote, we are active and participating in the process of electing somebody new, somebody we desire to occupy a certain political position.
Yeah.
All right, so 17 minutes past 2, and today we're discussing rural women, key stakeholders in 2023. I'm speaking currently with Chief Constance Major, gender advocate and publisher, National Point newspaper. And we're talking about rural women, key stakeholders in 2023. We just literally talked about how we can get more rural women to participate in the continuous voters registration exercise, aka CVR exercise. And I like what she said about taking it up as a personal task for everyone who's enlightened, both women and men, to get more people, more rural women, more people around us in our neighborhoods, in our communities, in our workplaces, to take it upon themselves to give them the information that they need to know so they can understand that this public nonchalance that we have does not favor anyone in the long run. Doesn't favor anyone in the long run. Okay. Hello, good afternoon.
Isonto, I'm a happiest man.
Comrade, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
May God bless you. This topic is very, very sweet to me. Rural women, it's very important to create awareness because now them are channeling my energy for to see how we are going to get them and the Nigerian youth. So they need to be giving awareness for them to vote. Because before 2029, you see here say we want to use electronic voting or any type of another electronic, and they have to be taught. Understand me? So there is supposed to be much wide awareness, whether for any language can they understand. And I want you men, where get money, where get for politics, should know how they will reach to that. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Me, I like vote, if you tell me where I go vote, if it's in winning my jurisdiction, I go vote well, because I will be voting since 1998. I will not stop voting. I say thank God for Senate hosting off from INEC. So I beg NCC to give us network, because it is the public and the human beings and the public that have the power. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, comrade. Thank you. 20 minutes past the hour 2 on Your Women Radio WFM 91.7, Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. My name is Sumto Titilayo Ajama, and we're discussing today rural women key stakeholders in 2023 on Political Arena today. I'm speaking with Chief Constance Major, gender advocate and publisher, National Point newspaper. So, talking about women understanding what it is to vote for their candidates and to vote for their candidates, to know their candidates rather, before voting, talking about how important that is. How can we get women in these rural areas to understand the benefits that come along with campaigning and voting, this time not for not for just anyone, but for female candidates? Constance, before you answer that question, let's take this call, please. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Sonto, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling, Chifagozie.
It's really precious, very good program, and I think WSM, they are really trying.
Thank you very much.
The part of the issue is that it's not that most of the rural women, they don't understand what the candidate wants to vote for. It's just all about the poverty ravaging the country, you understand? That's why when you go to some of them, take one derica of rice or another, somebody who has no eating to money now, you are coming to lobby the person with one derica or 1,000 naira. Can you get me? Then definitely the person may fall, you understand? So the part of this is that we have to stick this topic, like I see people ask, you understand me?
Yes.
So Nigerians are tired of all promises, you understand me? I think the fact is that if there's anybody in power, the good work has to speak for that person. It is not for you to come on air and start coercing people into what is not. You understand? You can get me. Are you getting my content?
Of course.
So the part of the issue, there's a question I would like to ask you soon too.
Yes.
For the love I have for you, love of God, you especially, are you a Yoruba or an Igbo woman?
I'm Igbo.
You married to Yoruba?
No, my mom is Yoruba.
Your mom is a Yoruba?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. It's pleasure for having you every time.
Thank you very much, Chifagozie. Thank you for contributing today. All right, Constance.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're privy to that. You heard everything that he said, right?
Yes, I heard.
What do you have to say concerning that?
Earlier, I said there's need for empowering women.
Absolutely. Going back to poverty, like he said, too.
Yes. Then, secondly, we all have to be true to ourselves. Everybody to look at their candidates and know whether they have served them well. In other countries, the people that serve are people that have been known to have contributed to the development of their communities. You don't come from the air just because you acquired money, then you come and start campaigning for position. No, they look at your antecedents. Maybe you did some good while you were a young person, or you have been helping to groom people, you have been helping to build, you have been helping to develop, that you have a heart for the community. Because when you have a heart for the community, it's difficult for you to go up and forget that bottom that you came from. And we should discountenance whether somebody is my brother, whether it's my party person. In governance, we are looking for good service for common good. Therefore, only those that we see that have that kind of heart are the people that we should keep behind. Doing otherwise will be just giving approval for the destruction of society. And we are seeing it right before our eyes. We are seeing it. The country is going down. The violence is terrible. And it's as if nobody is in control anymore. But these things could have been averted if we have real people. If we have people who have the goodness of the people at heart. If your children can come to the village and play, you will want the village to be in order. But if you don't bring them, you have nothing. Most of these people, their children are outside the country. If there's anything now, there is offline, that's all. And we will be here. So if we need to bring back Nigeria, we have to look for people that really love their communities. Because if you don't love Nigeria, you don't love your community. If you don't love your neighbor, Christ said, they say, what is the greatest commandment? They say, love the neighbor. The one that you see, just love it, just love. When you do that, then people can come to you, because it is the person who has love for another person that can have ears to listen to the problems of people. And right now, the problems of women are many.
Thank you very much.
Women are in danger. Women are poor. Their children, some that have gone to school, cannot talk. Look at the viral video that is ongoing. A boy traveling. The young people are no longer safe. They are just target to any greedy uniform person. So we need people that can help. We need to be true to ourselves and look beyond the now. Because anybody, like somebody says, somebody should take you to go and vote. If you really love your country, if you love your community, you may not wait for anybody to take you to anywhere because you feel strongly. I remember very well the Abiola Tofa election. People came, people stood for long, people sat under the sun just to vote and make that statement that we need a change. That is what we should be looking out for now, because Nigeria seriously needs to change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We really need to change. The country needs to change. And for that to happen, our attitude towards voting, towards campaigning, towards knowing who we're voting for needs to change as well. So my final question to you before I let you go today, Constance, would be that how do we, what can we do? What are some of the things that we can do to ensure that women are not marginalized in the forthcoming general elections? What are some of the steps that we can take to ensure that women are not marginalized in the forthcoming elections? That women who want to run, who want to go into power, are given access, they're given funding, they're given support, all the support that they need. How can we ensure that these women are not marginalized in any way or manner in the forthcoming elections?
I'd like to start with, there's a former friend of mine, late now. She was a PDP member, and she told me one thing. She said, if you want to be in politics, be ready. Yes, politics is mainly about money, and women don't have money, but we still have women who have money.
True.
We need to organize ourselves so that the ones that have money can identify with the ones that we have identified as efficient and capable. Watch my words. Efficient and capable. A lot of people are there who shouldn't be there. I remember going to a minister and she told me that she was not there on the basis of being a woman. But I told her, no, you are there as a woman, because when Obasanjo listed the candidates for ministerial position, there was no woman. It was women that negotiated. So we need women who see themselves as women, and therefore they represent the needs of the average Nigerian woman. Then we have to organize and identify gender-friendly candidates. Not just any candidate, the ones that will answer to our needs, issues that are very critical to women. We present them to them. That's why we need people who should be trained on negotiation, who should be trained on networking. It's not just to gather women, we clap, we vote, and go. Men don't just clap and go. Before they even vote, they had already negotiated.
Yes, money has changed hands.
Yes, even for employment. I remember when I went for an interview, I just went there, answered questions, and got engaged. Only later to realize that men negotiated some extra things. Women need to learn how to negotiate.
You're very right.
We must network. We must work together and see that beyond everything, our first focus is on women. Because If you get the interests of women right, societal problems will be addressed. The woman is the head of the house. The woman is the one that looks after the man, though the man may be the one bringing the money. But if she doesn't manage well, that man will be uncomfortable. The children will be uncomfortable. She's the one that will build the future of the country. So let us focus on women. And when we do that, we have hope. Then
Absolutely.
we must not just sit down after voting. When they go to office, we follow up. Those demands that we made during negotiation, we must make sure that they keep to those demands. Then we also need to engage the media to begin to project positive, likely female candidates long before election. You can see now, everybody, we are talking about now. Have you heard of any woman that is going to run? It's only men that we are talking about. Women should come forward. Show what you are. Do things in your community. I have a lot of respect for Uche Ekunike. I don't know how she's doing now. But I was very impressed when her community in the thick of struggle for the last ticket came out and said they were standing behind her because she did this, she constructed this road, she did that, she did that. Those are the kind of women that we want. Women will be proud of, that we will queue behind. That Hillary Clinton made it to presidential candidacy was not because she was married to Clinton. Before Clinton became president, she was already a known face because I was in the U.S. at that time, and the women were disappointed because they said they wanted her to be the one to run, not Clinton. That should be our So for the women bodies, the National Council of Women Societies, instead of endorsing people who stand and watch when they burn women political leaders as likely candidates, as gender-friendly governors, we should stand for issues that will promote the interests of women and help the nation.
Thank you.
Let the UN women also not go the way they are going. They should come out properly. If they are funding anybody, fund them. If not, you're educating them and teaching them how to make funds. Teach them so that they be strong. And also the little intricate things that we need to know. Help pass on that message so that it trickles down to the grassroots. At the grassroots, we have strong church women. Women who are church leaders who carry a lot of influence in the society. We need to galvanize them into the voice that will speak for the things that Nigerian women want.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Constance. It was a pleasure having you on Political Arena today.
Me too. Thank you, Constance.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks.
29 minutes to 3 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7, Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. My name is Sumto Titilayo Ajamma, and you're still listening to Political Arena. Today we're discussing rural women, key stakeholders in 2023. And I just got off the phone with Chief Constance Meju, gender advocate and publisher, National Point newspaper. We were just discussing about how women can better their chances in the 2023 general elections with the support of women at the grassroots, aka rural women. I'm using those two phrases interchangeably today in the course of the conversation. So rural women are definitely a part that cannot be sidelined in the process of conversation when we're talking about the forthcoming elections. And that's why today we're discussing rural women, key stakeholders in 2023. I'm currently speaking again with my second guest, Barrister Hafsat Shahabi Dange, President, Association of Northern Women Entrepreneurs. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm very well. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us on Political Arena.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Once again, the phone lines are still open and you can call in to contribute or to ask any questions for any more insights that you need from myself or from our capable guest in the studio. So this is 07000 917 917 or 0902 562 5455. Once again, 07000 917 917 or 0902 562 5455. You can also reach out via text or WhatsApp messaging to send your text or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. If you're just joining us, this is Political Arena, and we're discussing rural women, key stakeholders in 2023. All right. So, Hafsat, let me ask you about the role that you think that rural women play in the elections. Do you think rural women are a strong force when it comes to influencing the outcome of the elections?
Exactly, yes, because as we all know that women we occupy half of the population. That's no argument about that. So that being said, the population of the women, especially those of the rural community, cannot be neglected. So I would agree with you that women really are a very important segment of the populace that, are supposed to vote and do vote at every election.
Thank you very much. Thank you for putting it that way, and I'm glad that you agree, because nothing could be further from the truth when it comes to that, from the lies rather when it comes to that, because it's as true as you just said it. Rural women play a very, very important role when it comes to influencing the outcome of elections. So knowing that already, having that as a foundation, knowing that, what do you think that we can do to get these rural women to understand the benefits that come along with voting and campaigning for female candidates?
Okay. So we need to do a lot. And by we, I'm not talking about the government alone. I'm talking about every individual to put hands on deck to make sure that these women understand what is election and how it affects their lives. Because what the reality of things right now is that these women don't even understand, the magnitude of the impact of electing the right people means. And over the years, they are just being used, so to speak, because especially here in northern part of the country, where women are still the gender inequality gap in terms of every segment, the economy, politics, leadership, every other segment is still very, very wide. So you find out that the women are still at the whims of the male leaders of the family, and they just actually do what they are told. So they don't really have a mind of their own when it comes to who to vote for. And again, poverty, as the earlier speaker pointed out, is still a very, very key factor that influences their votes. So education in this regard, sensitization, education, to actually make them understand how important their votes are and how important it is for them to actually vote for the right people. Like the issue of female candidates is still a very, very big issue here because of the cultural restraints and the tradition, entrenched tradition. In the northern part of the country, for instance, we are a conservative set of people. So there's still traditional misconception that is still very much with us and affecting us, that women cannot lead or women are not good leaders and so on and so forth. All those misconceptions being carried, broadcasted, just to, discourage women's candidacy. So with all these barriers and issues, I think is a very important, we need to actually be very serious about community engagement and educating and sensitizing these women, so that they can actually change their mindset on these issues and actually explain to them the benefit of having people that will protect their interests on the seat of leadership.
That was a great way to put it. That was a fantastic way to put it, Hafsa. Thank you very much. So, talking about the importance of female candidates and the importance of getting rural women to understand why they need to vote and campaign for female candidates specifically, let me ask you what you think about female candidates and what they can do better to enhance female representation in 2023 elections. Let me rephrase. What do you think female candidates who are currently in positions of power, what do you think they can do? Okay, let me... 1 second. I'm talking female candidates. Now, when I say female candidates, I'm talking about people who want to run for political offices, but I'm also flipping it to people who are currently occupying political offices, because like it or not, Hafsat, you'd agree with me that they already have some level of influence. They already have some level of power. So what do you think that female candidates who want to run for political offices, as well as female candidates or female political figures who are already in positions of authority, can do better to enhance more women participation or representation, rather, in the 2023 election?
So this is a very important question, actually, because as you've rightly pointed out, we already have women in leadership positions around here. So what they should do is to understand that they need to mentor others. They need to hold the hands of others and mentor them. Most of the people that I know that want to actually engage in politics are actually complaining about lack of political mentorship. We won't expect the men to come and mentor women and tell them, oh yeah, come and take it. We don't expect that. So what we expect to see is that these women that are in leadership, they've been in the race for a very long time, to actually pinpoint those interested people that are capable and have the capacity, then actually mentor them and hold their hands and make sure that they get to those positions.
Okay, so Hafsat, let me interject for 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me interject for you're still going to go on with that thought, so please hold it while I interject. Now, I interjected because I felt the need to ask if this political mentorship that you refer to could be misconstrued to mean godfatherism, or in this case, well, it will still be called godfatherism, even if it's a woman. I mean, I don't think I've heard anybody use the term godmotherism. I haven't heard that term, so I will still stick to godfatherism. But do you think political mentorship in this context that you refer to could be misinterpreted or misconstrued to mean godfatherism, but this time for a female candidate?
No, I don't think so, because we've seen it in other places. Like we have few organizations that are actually trying in that regard, like the RAPA, the P1. I've seen them organize mentorship, political mentorship for younger women, which the composition is very impressive, because there are people of different diverse political interests in that. So if they structure it well in such a way that everybody is welcome to participate in it, they structure it well, they teach these people the values, what politics should stand for, how to actually raise funds, how to deal with challenges and all those things. That is the direction that I'm looking at, that will actually help these women build their confidence. Because I actually know a lot of women that really are interested, but they are so scared, and they feel so scared about the challenges and the issues that are surrounded, that the politics issue is surrounded, are the negative issues like the violence and all that. So by the time they have people that have already been there, they are in the process, mentor them, tell them, talk to them about their experiences, about how to avert some challenges, about the policy acts, that should be brought forth, and mobilization of other women's groups to ask for these issues. Because I think it's something that is way beyond what people are doing now, If you're saying more women should be in politics, there should be a group of women who are actually pushing for some reforms to make it easier for women to join politics. For instance, when the political process involves night meetings, violence, and all those issues, women are not likely to participate in it. But when we mobilize ourselves, we ask for all these reforms. We ask for things that we think, if implemented, will make it easier for women to join politics. That will be a very positive step going forward. Because when we don't mobilize ourselves and push for these things, then no matter how badly we want to be in those leadership positions, we are actually going to be constrained.
I really like that you said that you talked about some of the limitations, some of the fact that some of these women are scared. I like that you mentioned that. And I was coming to that because safety of female candidates during elections is extremely important. We cannot underestimate how important that particular factor is, because that's also one of the reasons, like you've rightly said, that a lot of women who are efficient and capable are not stepping out because of all this negativity attached to the Nigerian political terrain. Now, talk to me about what women leaders of rural communities and women groups can do in ensuring the safety of women during elections. What can women leaders who are already influential in their own rural communities and women groups, what can these two individual parties do to ensure the safety of other women during elections?
Okay, so the most important thing that they're supposed to do is to keep political interests aside for now. Mobilize themselves, look at the issues and come up with one voice, come up with one voice when it comes to advocacy on those things that they need to see happen. If there is no, if there is no such bond or such coming together, everybody continues speaking in a different angle, there's not going to be any likelihood of solution, So I think it's like the collaboration and cooperation among all the women groups, and they just drop all their political interest aside and face that particular fight. When everything succeeds, then everybody can continue with his individual political interest. So I think when that is done, we're going to start seeing positivity in that regard.
Amazing. So individual political interests set aside for the greater political change that is intended to be accomplished.
Exactly.
Amazing. Finally, Hafsat, what, in your opinion, is the role of civil society organizations in sensitizing women in rural areas on the need to come out and vote? How much work has been done, or how much work needs to be done when it comes to civil society organizations and sensitizing women on the need to come out to vote?
The role of civil society organization can never be overemphasized, because they are the ones that actually go down to the community level. And what we require at this stage is the bottom-up approach. So, therefore, we're not going to wait for government, INEC, or any other, or any other segment of stakeholder, but the community organization. So their roles cannot be overemphasized, and they should even have started long time ago with the mobilization. So it's not late now. So I will really urge all grassroots organizations and PSOs to actually put hands on deck to start the intense mobilization right now, because the work ahead is actually much. Change of mindset, actually getting them understand some issues and all.
13 minutes to 3 on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7. This is still Political Arena, and today we're discussing rural women, key stakeholders in 2023. My current guest is Barrister Hafsat Shahabi Dange, President, Association of Northern Women Entrepreneurs. Now, this conversation is imperative that it be had because of the role that rural women play in election processes. This is extremely important because, however we like to put it, in her words, she said the role of civil society organizations cannot be overemphasized. And she's saying this because of the question I asked as regards what their role is or how much work they can do when it comes to sensitizing women in the rural areas on the need to come out to vote. So Hafsat,
again, sorry, I was cut off there by network. So,
yes, please go ahead.
Again, I would like to emphasize that while doing so, the community mobilizers must include men in their sensitization, because now we're in the era where we see men as partners. We're not in competition, so to speak. So in engaging these women, they should be able to engage them together with the men so that they can build that trust on the process, Yes, so we are trying to build he-for-she advocates right now. And I think doing it together, carrying both the women and men along will actually play a great role.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Hafsat. It's been a pleasure having you today, and I appreciate your presence on Political Arena today. But before I let you go, let me ask you about what you think specifically when it comes to female candidates and women voting for female candidates. Do you think this is a reality we're looking towards in the coming elections? Or do you think this is something that we need to work towards slowly, that will gradually take effect and not necessarily in the coming elections?
As I've pointed out earlier, it's a lot of work to break down that cultural, already entrenched cultural beliefs and traditions about leadership of women. So it's not something that is impossible. I am quite hopeful that when more effort is being put in place on these sensitization issues and strategic plans, and we get intentional about this sensitization towards ensuring that, I think it's a possibility. We are hopeful. But as I've pointed out, a lot of work needs to be done now more than ever.
Thank you so much, Barrister Hafsat Shahabi Dange. I hope I got the pronunciation of your name correctly.
Yes, you're right. Yes.
It's a very nice name. Thank you very much for joining us again today on Political Arena.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy as always.
All right. It's a pleasure. Please enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
9 minutes to 3 on Your Women Radio WFM 91.7. And the conversation is revolving around rural women, key stakeholders in 2023. We're all aware of the 2023 general elections that are forthcoming, and this is in a bid to sensitize and to educate and to encourage higher participation of rural women in the political processes of elections specifically, or in electoral processes, for lack of a better term. Let me put it that way. And this is the reason, according to both Chief Constance Meju and Barrister Hafsat Shahabi Dange, they have both said that the role of rural women in electoral processes cannot be overemphasized. These are the people that political candidates go to get their buy-in, to get their vote of confidence, for them to inspire other women around them to vote for them. And just like you said, over 47% of women were the ones who were active voters in the last elections. Just imagine if we had a female political candidate who we have mobilized other women over time to vote for, then that fruit will have, or that seed will have reared fruits at the time of the election. And that 47 would just be people that we have mobilized to vote, not necessarily people who have voted. And that number would significantly have gone up had we done the mobilization early. In the words of Barrister Hafsat Shahabi Dange, civil society organizations, women groups, women leaders in rural communities, they're already doing a great job, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And she's also saying we need to carry other men along. We need to carry the men along because it is not a competition. It's not a competition. This is a partnership. This is when we work together, we coming together to make a lasting difference in our society. So, ahead of the 2023 elections, we need to begin to sensitize women in rural communities on the need to participate in the CVR exercise, the continuous voters registration exercise, as a prerequisite to participate in the 2023 forthcoming elections. This process has been made easy by the e-version, where you can fill a form online, get a date that you can go to these places and get your exercise ready and good to go. Also, in the words of Chief Constance Meju, she also said that a good suggestion would be to decentralize these activities so that people who live in far places may not necessarily have to make the move or the walk or the drive all the way to these local government areas or these particular places that have been fashioned out for this purpose. They can decentralize it just a little bit more so that they can get more places that are avidly and actively involved in carrying out this process. These rural women need to be educated on electoral processes to enable them exercise their civic rights properly and to ensure that they are not exploited during elections. So thank you again to our guests, Chief Constance Meju, gender advocate and publisher, National Point newspaper, and Barrister Hafsat Shahabi Dange, President, Association of Northern Women Entrepreneurs. And thank you also to producer Esther Alaribe. Up next on Women Radio is the news at 3. My name is Somto Titilayo Ajam. Good afternoon.
WFM 91.7.